This is day 35 of the podcast, still coming to you from Medellin. So often as New Testament believers, we throw off the law rather than display in our very lives how Jesus fulfilled it. Paul invites us in 1 Corinthians 10, 1 through 11, to take a closer look at the Old Testament journey of the people of God and see how their ways are being a means of instruction for the New Testament church. Would you listen as I take us to 1 Corinthians 10, verses 1 through 11? For I don't want you to be unaware, brethren, that our fathers were all under the cloud and all passed through the sea, and all were baptized into Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and all ate the same spiritual food, and they all drank the same spiritual drink, for they were drinking from a spiritual rock which followed them, and the rock was Christ. Nevertheless, with most of them God was not well pleased, for they were laid low in the wilderness. That's not a good thing, to be laid low in the wilderness. Now these things happened as examples for us, that we should not crave evil things as they also craved. And don't be idolaters as some of them were, as it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and stood up to play. Nor let us act immorally as some of them did, and 23,000 fell in one day. Nor let us try the Lord, put the Lord to the test, as some of them did and were destroyed by the serpents. Nor grumble, as some of them did, and were destroyed by the destroyer. Now these things happened to them as an example. That's the part to underline, that's the part to keep in mind. They were written for our instruction, upon whom the ends of the ages have come. These Old Testament stories are rich with meaning for how to walk by the Spirit in the ways of God. From the very beginning, the book of Genesis, clear through to the book of Revelation, one chapter after another is rehearsing to us in detail the ways God has in mind for man to walk. There were two trees in the garden. There is a contrast continually between two sons. You have the book of Proverbs, and there is the contrast of two ways, the way of foolishness and the way of wisdom. Jesus picks up teaching on the two ways. There's a narrow way that leads to life. There is a wide way that leads to destruction, and he talks about finding that way. Book of Revelation, you have the wicked woman and you have the bride of Christ, a real contrast with each other. So here's the question for you today. When did the disciples learn to see Jesus in the Old Testament? And how much have you learned about seeing Jesus in the Old Testament?